Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Metis Warrior. You're here with Timothy and Alexandria.
Hello everybody out there.
So I want to speak to the people out there and let you know that the Metis Warrior Media Group is a platform for you to voice your concerns of corruption or fraud within your Metis organizations, no matter where you are located. Metis Warrior Media Group was established because no other news media source was covering certain stories. It seemed like there was a lot of bias out there. And we are the platform for all Métis, regardless of where you're located. And you can complain about your organizations. This is where you can have your voice. You can speak out against corruption. We know that there's people that will try to intimidate you to not speak out. And how do they do this? They go on social media and they will start their intimidation tactics. They would threaten things. They would threaten lawsuits. They would threaten all kinds of stuff. They would sit there and mock you, go into your personal life. They've done this with many people to try to silence them. They've done this to try to get people to not speak out. However, that will not work with the Metis Warrior Media Group. Again, this is a platform that you can come on and voice your concerns about your Metis organizations. You have every legal right to do that, as long as you're speaking truth, as long as you have proof to what you're saying. So you need to always make sure that you have proof of the things that you are saying. If you have questions, then you, without proof, you can ask questions of your Métis organizations on this platform. We are here for you, and we do not allow intimidation tactics to try to silence the Métis people. That's not going to happen. There's nothing wrong with speaking out against corruption and fraud, or just raising your concerns about what's going on in your Métis organization.
And it seems and it appears in all the time that we're doing this, that people that are speaking truth, or people that are seeking truth, transparency, and accountability become targets.
Okay, so again, bullying people is not good at all. And we see a lot of that when people try to speak out on the corruption. We see a lot of the people who are in leadership positions actually trying to bully the Métis people in order to try to silence them.
And I think it's very important. The Government of Canada, Indigenous, it was Pink Shirt Day, and they were asking you to wear pink to show your support for practicing empathy, compassion, and kindness. Ties in exactly how relevant to what's been going on as of late in the Métis world. So Jane was Pink Shirt Day by the Government of Canada, Indigenous.
And so yeah, let's have these leaders out there in these Métis organizations stop bullying the people who wish to speak out against the corruption, against the fraud, or who may just even have questions about certain things, because their first run to is, oh, you're slandering. It's not slander if you're speaking truth about the corruption and fraud. Let's understand that from the get-go here. So let's go ahead and call Louis right now.
Louis speaking.
All right, hey Louis, you're here with Timothy and Alexandria, the Metis Warrior Media Group, and we're glad to have you join us again.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for the follow-up, and happy Pink Shirt Day. It's quite fitting, really, because it's a day of bullying, and that's kind of the topic we're talking about.
Yes, it is. It is a day of bullying. Actually, we just talked about that prior to calling you, how certain people will try to slander. Well, all right. We just talked about how certain people, if certain people speak out against corruption, there's people out there that want to try to intimidate you, try to bully you into not speaking out, and they will try to go into your personal life. And so, we find that very wrong, because we're just a platform that has people that can come on and talk about their concerns within their organizations. We have leaders such as yourself that can come on and answer some questions, which is great. Y'all have been transparent to the fullest, and we definitely appreciate that.
Perfect. Yeah, it's always wonderful to talk Métis politics, and to have a platform to be out there to connect with the citizens as well, and get a good sort of internal point of view, so you can ask some of the hard questions that need to be asked.
Okay, Louis, one of the things we wanted to touch base with you on is a little bit of what the outcome of your meeting, your AGM, was, and some of the positive things that are happening, and maybe some of the not so positive things. Can you give us a little review of what happened?
Sure, yeah. We had our AGM last week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so the 18th, 19th, and 20th of February, and we actually had 272 citizens call in. So that's a record amount of people. So we know that, the platform, might be something that we'll use again in the future. And, one of the things right at the beginning is always nominating the chair from the floor. And, as expected, we had Will Goodon try to get in a couple of times on his name and try to enter the AGM under two false names, or a false names. He tried twice. He admittingly said this, that he tried 4 times. And thank goodness the people who were doing that on the spot recognized the IP addresses and were able to block him from interfering in our governance process. So that was very disappointing, but going back into Will's page, and we've been friends for quite a few years, I see that, his attitude is just one of, because I'm elected, there's one Métis Nation. He can rove and go back and forth into all these regional governments and blatantly do whatever he wants. And that is absolutely no respect for other people's governments. Yes, we may have one Métis Nation, but certainly the people of Manitoba, aren't privy to who governs that whole Métis Nation. It has to be all of the regional governments, and that's just kind of how things work. So that was quite surprising, but otherwise we had a great AGM, and we passed self-governance, so that's a big thing for us. And now maybe the future isn't so dependent on the success or failure of the MNC, though we certainly would like it to be. But now we have a little bit of more sure footing, and we feel that we're a little bit more equal to the other regional governments as well. So all in all, Timothy, thanks very much. It was really a relief to get through that. And hey, even though all the strife and stuff that happened with the suspension of the president, we're still standing, right?
Yeah, and we want to congratulate you. Me and Alexandria wish to congratulate y'all on the self-government passing, because that's a beautiful thing. And we don't feel like you need a middleman dipping into what y'all are getting that y'all can use to help benefit your people there. This in British Columbia. We think it's wrong to have people who are not located in British Columbia actually controlling what you can do for your own people there. And that's just, we congratulate y'all and applaud y'all on that.
And I think more to that, Louis, is that we all know that Métis people, like we've said this time and time again, we're a passionate people. We like to debate. I mean, it's okay to disagree and have debates, but when the aspect of respect falls out of that equation and there's no respect, that becomes an uneven debate. And like I said, if you start disrespecting people, you run into problems. And like I said, we applaud you for standing firm, looking after your people in British Columbia.
You're a true leader.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. It's quite a compliment. I try to listen to people as much as I can, and I understand the governance process is for everybody, and we have to follow that, because how do other governments, if we're going into self-government, expect any respect from the federal government or the provincial government if we don't even respect our own laws, right, and our own way of doing things? And there's always room for debate, but it has to be respectful, exactly like you say. And differing opinions will always happen, but I really believe that is a true way of moving forward, so that we're not leaving anyone out. we're due for a new president at the MNC. And, from what I've seen, and I've seen some videos of Clem, it's actually, well, why call an election if I'm only going to lose? I mean, how is that even democracy? So it is important that I think we all look at each other now and say, okay, now's the time we all have to sit down and talk about our problems. Otherwise, we'll never move forward as a national government.
Exactly. And I just want to put out there that honesty among board members, among leaders out there, and transparency is extremely important. And I also want the people listening to know that it's not that we don't have a hatred for Goodon, Chartier, or Chartrand. We don't have a hatred for them personally. What we don't like is the corruption and the lies. And when you go into somebody made a comment on Goodon's thing that said that she said that Goodon's the most honest person that she knows. Well, it's not honest when you're trying to access a meeting under different names. That's not an honest thing to do. And so, we do want peace and unity among our people. We want the peace and we want the unity, and we don't want to have this division created by people that are just trying to control the majority of the funding and misappropriate funding. And so I applaud every government that went self-governments. It is awesome. And I really applaud y'all for that. And we're going to be looking closely into the elections across the board. And so, and we hope to bring light to what's really going on with the elections.
And you know what? I'm just reading comments from citizens after the AGM, and a lot of them are great work, everybody behind the scenes, great AGM, thanks for the professionalism, and they're saying all the hard work to get this together. There were some glitches, but all in all, we think you did a good job. So you have a lot of people that appreciated what was going on with the recent AGM, and it was the first ever AGM. So of course there's going to be some glitches or kinks out of there, but all in all, the citizens, I mean, there were so many positive comments saying, excellent, very proud. So I mean, you have people that are appreciating what went on at the AGM. And I think that's, when you have citizens, and there's always, some negative, there's always good, positive, negative, and you've got to take both. But all in all, I'm reading a lot of positive things that came out of the AGM.
And the emails we got tons of emails supporting y'all. I mean, tons of emails supporting y'all.
That's really nice to hear. Thanks very much. It was sort of reflective as well when the voting started, and that was, for me, that was, sort of the, taking the temperature of everybody there. And yes, definitely there's a faction that, opposes maybe the current government that's in place. But when the voting came, we really saw that the majority of the people, yes, do believe that we are doing the right thing. We are following our laws. They do support the direction that we're going, and the minority, is one that, yes, we have to listen to and we have to take into account, but we certainly, you have to move into the direction of the majority of people. So that was really relieving as well. And yes, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect, but we're going to learn as we go. We always stopped, and the chair was very good at seeking advice if anything was murky. We made sure we took as many comments as possible on all the resolutions that were put forward, and I think that's a reflection on the chair that was there. Zach Romano was excellent, and keeping to topic, because a lot of people like to go off topic sometimes, and Métis people are very emotional and passionate in their politics, which is great. Which why I love your show and being able to be on this platform every now and then to talk about maybe some of the harder issues. But funny enough, during that we did find out that there was a health meeting that Clara was on representing the MNBC. at a national level. So that was pretty disturbing because she's supposed to be suspended. So I mean, even breaking the suspension, it just reinforces how, and not going to the Senate, how can you be president and take an oath to protect all of these things that now you're going against? It's quite baffling, and like I say, that breaking of her suspension, I think, is going to really be damaging to her, as well as the other things that are going to come up, as far as her suspension and the details as they start getting released. I think people are going to be quite shocked. That was awesome for President McCallum to send us. I'll tell you, on the AGM, we sent invites out to everybody like we always do. And it was so nice of President McCallum to give us a welcome. So I thought that was a real positive. We didn't pick that. That invite was put out to everybody, Timothy.
If you don't...
Yeah, there's a gentleman who's a lawyer, who's a member, who put out a really good statement about that. Will actually had his 2 years. So, like we said before, no, he didn't have a right to be there at all. And it was Clara on the last board who said, no, they were going to pick another chair. So, Will has had his day, and we certainly, why would we even choose him at this point with all the comments?
Yes.
I think there's a lot of mending and a lot of, probably apologies that need to be done before he would be welcome back to AGM anything with us.
Exactly.
Well, Louis, don't you think that leaders, ministers, board members, I mean, you're supposed to be held to a higher standard for what you're doing all over social media or whatever, and the question a lot of people have asked of us is, why hasn't Will acknowledged again that he attempted to attend the AGM using different names? He seems to be avoiding that question, and even when people are watching the video, I mean, we show it in his own words. I mean, as a leader, I mean, just come clean and say, you know what, yes, I did attempt doing
he said that.
I mean,
he admitted it.
Why isn't he now telling the people, yes, guys, I mean, just come clean, and if you really want to kind of build bridges or kind of create unity and not animosity, I mean, why wouldn't you just say, I mean, we have where he said it in his own words, but with all the stuff, the bullying and all that stuff that's going on social media, I mean, I guess people really didn't watch the video to see in his own words where he said that, and he seems to, we hear that word again, deflecting from that.
Yeah, and that's the time when, pick up the phone, right? I mean, Will has been, quite involved in being chair at some of our AGMs and MNGAs. Why not help us, right? If you see that we're having a problem, pick up the phone, come and help us if you really want to help. But don't take this on social media and start rallying troops against, our government. I mean, that is, I don't know what you call that, but there must be laws in other countries, right? When you're trying to destabilize a government that, might be not agreeing with what you're thinking. So, yeah, it's quite baffling, really, but, true colors, right? People always show their true colors, so that's just too bad.
But what I want to do is I want to really just focus on the positive thing that I like to get out of this interview. That came from the AGM, and I think the most positive thing that you could have did for your people out there and was the self-government. And I'll tell you this, and I don't know if people realize how that's going to affect the people within your organization, but it's definitely going to affect your people in a positive way. And so why would you want a third party dipping in and taking the funding and when it can come straight to you? And I think self-government is a beautiful thing, because I think there's a lot of positivity that's happening in British Columbia. Y'all are doing a great job out there, and I applaud y'all for that.
Yeah, thanks, Timothy. I mean, it really is a big thing. Behind the scenes, our technical teams have already been working with Alberta and Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Manitoba as much as we can. So that business always goes on. So on the forefront, when you start talking about politics and maybe some politicians disagreeing with others, you have to understand that our senior staff and all of our wonderful and great and hardworking employees are behind the scenes working on deals, working on health accords, working with the government. I mean, now, this is huge for us, for our province of BC, because they only recognized us, not as Section 35 rights holders. So they didn't formally consult with us, even though we were doing work in the background. Now it's formal. It is, yes, a government to government, and that's really going to help us as far as our health dollars is concerned. There's a big difference between how much the government does give to First Nations. Don't get me wrong, they deserve every penny, but we get so much less of that, and we have quite a big population out here in British Columbia, so this is going to change everything for us. As well as even this board and what we do, and we believe in our governance structure. So just because a suspended president doesn't believe in our justice system doesn't mean that we as a board are not entitled to use it. So, we're going to use all our governance structures to make us more stronger and really solidify the governance in British Columbia. So it's going to bring millions of dollars, as it has with Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario. That's going to actually come to us now. And yes, I agree. Why have the middleman unless the middleman is working for everybody? And until we have a meeting, Alexandria and Timothy, that isn't going to happen. We have to be able to get together and talk about our problems so we can use MNC as best we can to work for all of us and not some of us. And if that's not going to happen, so be it.
Exactly. And again, for the people living in British Columbia right now, I want you to understand this is a great day for the Métis in British Columbia. And again, it's going to benefit the Métis there so much more than what was going on before. And so it's just I can't even really put into words exactly to the extent that they just got to wait and see. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful thing here, and I'm very excited about it.
And I think what the recent AGM achieved is it's really shown the Métis people in BC how one of the traits again of being Métis is you're resilient. And I think the AGM, with glitches and all the stuff that was going on in social media, resilience and perseverance, that came through as a positive result at the AGM. And again, acting president Lisa Smith has really been out there, and I commend her as well. She sort of really rallied the team at Métis Nation of BC to stand united, because it really is a battle. It's a war, and it's a battle where you have having to you have people that are attacking you no matter what you say. You could say that a color is red or something right in front of their face, and they're going to argue that it's blue all day long. And you just have to pick yourself up and just keep moving forward in a positive path, because you're putting your people first.
Yeah, and that's it, and really drawing from them as well, and drawing from that resilience, and drawing from our past and our culture, because it can certainly get to you. It does bring you down, and it's heart-wrenching at points. And when that self-governance passed, Deborah Fisher, one of our directors, made a few comments, and everybody was in tears, and it was like, we've waited a lifetime for this to happen. And we've had ancestors who waited a lifetime, and we just cannot go through another Kelowna Accord where we were all at the table, we were ready to go, and then there was a change in government, and then we lost a whole decade, and we were broke. We were so poor in poverty during that time. Our culture was the only thing that kept us alive, and to be at the table and watch the vote, and to pray for that vote to be strong and to be powerful was really something else. I can't even describe, the tears that people had, and they were hugging each other, and it's just like it passed at our Métis Governing Assembly. When it passed almost unanimously, people were the same. They were jovial and clapping, and it was like, now, we really get to be the ones who figure out where we want to go and not where the government wants us to go, because they've taken everything. And it's been so long that we've been back at the table. So I think that's the biggest message here is there really is hope. And, everyone else seems to have it. We haven't even got our S-35 rights out here. This is our time, and this should really not be a time of fear, but to be a time of coming together and everybody getting together and giving us all of your ideas. All of our best people need to come up and to the plate right now and help us make a really strong and powerful nation for our people moving forward.
Well, let me just recommend this. The group of 9 needs to all have a group picture done, because 100 years from now, when the Métis look back in history, what y'all have done is a very historic thing here, and y'all have done great. It's just such a great thing to do this self-government in British Columbia, and y'all gonna go down in history, man. It's really warriors for your people, and so I applaud the group of 9. So y'all deserve every right. You earn your place in history for sure.
We're gonna have to change that. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that now. It's actually 10, because Susie Hooper was a real champion for helping us, make this and making a real good case. She's a smart cookie, and she's was on the last board as well, and she was right with us defending it, making sure that this resolution passed. So hats off and kudos to her as well. So maybe now we're like the divine 10 or something like that.
Yeah, the 10, the group of 10. Y'all made history there, and that's awesome.
Yeah, because you've really withstood and standed as a united force working for your people. And your previous interview, it really gave clean truth to the citizens in BC. And again, it's refreshing, and I think a lot of people that were bucking it, they're not used to having directors or leaders coming on your show and being transparent. It's something that people aren't used to seeing, so right away they become skeptical. But I mean, when you're speaking clean truth, I mean, the truth is always refreshing, but it's also scary to a lot of people, and it's hard for them to digest.
Yeah, and you know what? Being humble is an Indigenous value. It's okay to be wrong. You're never going to be right. Nobody knows everything, but apologize when you're wrong and make amends as much as you can, because it's not about me, it's about us.
Exactly.
And how we go forward together.
So is there any last things you'd like to say before we wrap it up, Louis? Because it's been great to have you back on the show, and I don't know if maybe there's something else you want to get in there before we wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I think we've covered pretty well everything, and I really appreciate this opportunity to follow up on our first interview. And I know a lot of people who listened to it who said, gee, I didn't know that. And so thank you again for both of you for being there for MNBC and letting us have a voice. Because we didn't have that before. So the work that you all do is good work. And I know your show covers a lot of topics, but this is a very important topic. The politics in our country, I think, is something that should be at the forefront of what we get down to the nitty-gritty and really be honest about some of the conversations that we need to have. So Chimikwich, and my hands go up to you both, and stay safe. During this COVID, we've had a little bit of an outbreak out here in Chilliwack, so we've all been working hard to get some supports to people, and that has to be our number one focus. And we actually have some budget meetings coming up with our community, so the presidents are going to be more involved in how we're going to spend our money, and I just love this open and transparency. It certainly is something that's so refreshing to see for our nation. So again, my hands are up to you both. And stay safe.
You too, Miigwech, Louis, and as well, it's always a pleasure to have you speaking truth, transparency, and accountability, and it's refreshing as well, and we really appreciate you taking time, and you and everybody out there, please stay safe with that outbreak, and thank you for putting the Métis people in BC first.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks very much. We'll talk
Take care.
to you soon. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Again, Louis de Jaeger is Region 2 Director at Métis Nation of British Columbia, folks.
Truth, transparency, and again, as we can have disagreements, true, but it's not good to have somebody say, okay, yeah, we're gonna do fraudulent things or corrupt things, and then you should be all right with it, and we should be able to go out to dinner. No, that don't happen that way. You got to address and right the wrongs that has been done in a lot of organizations. And for right now, I can say that the Métis Nation of British Columbia is right on track. They're doing the best things. They're so transparent. They're not hiding things from the people. And I mean, they're looking out for the Métis in British Columbia, which is what they need to be doing. If every organization was like that and not putting in nepotism out there and and screwing over the people, then how much better would that be for the Métis everywhere?
And leaders in Métis organizations really have to hold themselves at a higher standard on how they conduct themselves on social media. They are leaders for Métis people. So again, you should be accountable for your actions on social media and be very careful. You're there to lead the Métis people, to
not insult them.
That's right, to elevate them, bring positivity, not to stomp them to the ground. And you have to be accountable for your actions. You are in a leadership role in Métis organizations.
And we encourage everybody to speak out against fraud and corruption. There's nothing wrong with it, because let me tell you something. You had this board in British Columbia that was tired of the same old, and they made a decision to change things, and they changed things for the better. And so, man, it is a beautiful thing, and we applaud them.
Absolutely. Take care.